Good evening, friends. Good evening to all the participants. Our speaker, C.S.S. Gupta ji, past president of Use Exchange, and all my executive team members. I hope and pray about the well-being of every one of us and believe that the lockdown to get over soon and everyone returns to their normal lifestyle. All business and organizations reopens and our economy gets up and running. With the good wishes, I welcome you all to today's webinar on income tax, wherein we will be discussing the income tax regime under section 115BAA, 115BAB and 115BAC, along with the ordinance and announcements which has been announced post COVID-19. Friends, as we know the Income Tax Act, we have been learning and studying from our college days in our CA exams, during our articleship days, and even today when we are practicing. But still today, when we try to analyze any particular section, it would be different from what we would have interpreted earlier. Hearing and listening to experienced members gives us a new way of interpreting the law and applying the same in our profession. Today we have among us the learned and experienced C.S.S. Gupta ji to take us through the new income tax laws. Friends, we are also live on Facebook, and any questions during the sessions can be asked in the chat box, which will be taken up in the question and answer sessions. Without taking much time, I would like to ask C.A. Saroj Swaika ji to kindly introduce our speakers formally. Saroj ji.
Thank you, Naveen. Good afternoon, everybody. Am I audible?
Yes.
Good afternoon, friends. Today we have very common person, very common known face, Sri S.S. Gupta ji amongst us. Though he does not require any formal introduction, but as a matter of protocol, I briefly discuss about his past achievements and accomplishments. He is a qualified chartered accountant. He qualified early in the year 1973, securing first rank in Eastern Region in CA final exams. He has worked as a vice president with the AV Birla Group. He is practicing in the name of S. Swaroop and Company since 1984, and over the years has gained immense experience and expertise in income tax. He is providing us expert consultancy on income tax matters to various chartered accountants and advocates. He is a renowned expert in the field of taxation. Mr. Gupta ji regularly represents his clients before the appellate authorities, ITAT and CIT appeals. Owing to his expertise and experience, he is a regular speaker in various seminars organized by the various industry bodies, Chambers of Commerce and ICAI. He has addressed symposiums in Singapore, Thailand, Nepal, etc. on topics like double taxation avoidance agreements. Some of his professional associations and affiliations are: he is a co-opted member with Direct Taxes Committee of ICAI for the year 2015-16. He is a life member of Association of Corporate Executives and Advisors, Kolkata. He is also a life member of DTPA, Kolkata. He is a member of Merchant Chamber of Commerce, Kolkata. Now I welcome Sri S.S. Gupta ji and request him to enrich us with his proceedings. Welcome, Gupta ji.
Good afternoon, friends. Jawarji had asked me to deliberate upon the provisions of 115 BAA, 115 BAB and 115 BAC, which are the new tax regimes for corporates and for non-corporates. Friends, prior to these three provisions coming, am I audible to everybody?
Yes, sir. You're audible, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So prior to these provisions coming into the statute book, there was one section 115BA, which was the outcome of Finance Act 2016, which was effective from assessment year 17-18. Even according to this provision, all domestic manufacturing companies which were set up and registered on or after 1st March 16 were to be taxed at a concessional rate of 25%, subject to fulfillment of certain conditions. And those conditions are that it must be a manufacturing company engaged in the manufacture or production of any article or thing. And there should not be any business other than the business of manufacturing. And it should not claim the specified deductions and exemptions. Now, those deductions which it could not claim were deduction under 10AA, that is available to SEZ units, deduction of additional depreciation under 32(1) IIA, 32AC, 32AD, 33AB, 33ABA, and other deductions, and Chapter 6A deductions, except Section 80JJAA, which relate to weighted deduction for additional employee cost for recruiting new employees. And even brought forward losses pertaining to these deductions could not have been set off and adjusted and could not be carried forward. And this was a optional deduction available under 115BA. I mean, the domestic manufacturing companies had an option to go for this. Now, to exercise these options, they had to exercise it in the very first year. Apart from this 25% taxation regime, now Finance Act, pursuant to Finance Act also, there was a amendment carried out in the tax rates where companies having a turnover up to 250 crores could also pay the optional tax of 25%. Now, it is only in the pursuant to an ordinance 2019 that that we saw the birth of Section 115BAA and BAB. Now, it was by virtue of the ordinance of the income CBDT, central government carried out under Article 123 of the Constitution, which was dated 20th September 2019, that these two new sections were brought into the statute book, 115BAA and 115BAB. Now, these are very important to understand, which will take us, then I will take up the third provision, that is 115BAC, which is the outcome of this Finance Act 2020. Now, as per 115BAA, subsection 1, subject to the provisions of this chapter, other than those mentioned under 115BA and BAB, the income tax payable in respect of the total income of a person being a domestic company for any previous year relevant to assessment year beginning on or after 1st April 20 shall at the option of such person be computed at the rate of 22%. Now, an option has been provided to all domestic companies to apply to exercise the option as per the provisions of 115BAA for assessment year 2021 onwards, and they would be taxed at the rate, the total income of such company shall be taxed at the rate of 22% plus cess and surcharge. The effective rate thus comes to 25.168%, or we can say 25.17%. Now, to analyze the provisions of this section, we should understand that these provisions are contained in Chapter 12. Now, there could be certain other incomes which are having income, which are being taxed at a rate which is lower than 22%. Say dividend income, say long-term capital gain to be taxed under 112 or 112A, or short-term capital gain taxable under 111A. So those incomes are taxed at 10% or 15% as the case may be, Now a question and issue arises whether those lower rates of taxation already available to those categories of income, whether a company exercising option under 115 BAA can take the benefit of these lower rates of taxation already existing in the statute. Sir, if we read the first opening line of the provision, it says subject to the provisions of this chapter. This chapter is chapter 12. And even those concessional rates of taxation are also part of chapter 12. Therefore, it is submitted that those concessional rates of taxation would be available. Now, conditions to be fulfilled, the conditions are more or less the same as are contained in 115 BA, which I just narrated, that such companies will not be able to claim deduction under chapter, section 10 AA additional depreciation, and whatever items which I narrated for 80 BA, they are broadly the same, those items, same items which are not eligible for deduction under 115 BA. Now, then no set off or carry forward of depreciation of any earlier assessment year. Then without set off of any loss or allowance for unabsorbed depreciation and unabsorbed depreciation pertaining to these deductions. Normal brought forward losses and normal brought forward depreciation is permitted to be carried forward and set off. But losses and depreciation pertaining to the above said deductions, they would not be, they are not eligible to be set off. And in relation to the unabsorbed depreciation brought forward pertaining to additional depreciation, it has been provided that you are permitted to increase your opening WDV to that extent. Now I am explaining it by way of an example. Suppose your opening WDV of assets on which you had claimed additional depreciation is say 250 rupees, and your unabsorbed additional depreciation brought forward is say 100 rupees. Then the law provides that the opening WDV could be increased by that figure of 100 rupees, so that your opening WDV gets increased by 350, and for which you can carry forward and claim your normal depreciation on that 350. So that is a positive feature of this scheme. Then friends, the option has to be exercised before the due date specified in 139(1). So this is also very important. One need to be very pretty sure to exercise the option before filing of the income tax return. Now friend, one will have to make an analysis of one's own case to understand whether to go for the new scheme or not, looking at that amount of the brought forward losses and unabsorbed depreciation on these specified categories of items. Then friends, there was a simultaneous amendment to the provisions of MAT carried out under 115 JB. There also it is provided that a company exercising option under 115 BAA will not be liable for MAT under 115 JB. Now the CBDT came out with a circular under circular number 29 dated 2nd of October 2019, wherein it was stated that as MAT provisions are not applicable, MAT credit also could not be claimed. With greatest respect, sir, I have a different view on the claim of MAT credit by the companies who are exercising their option under 115 BAA. Sir, it is clear that there is a Supreme Court decision in the case of CIT versus Saha Sadiq and Sons, 166 ITR 102 Supreme Court. Now, that Supreme Court decision has said that whenever there is an amendment which affects the vested right of the SSE, then there should be a clear intendment and clear specification in the amendment to say that this vested right will not be available to the SSE. Now here, what has been amended is 115 JB. There has not been any amendment carried out in 115 JAA which deals with MAT credit. Therefore, if 115 JAA has not been amended, but this by virtue of a circular, they are saying that the vested right which came to me in the earlier year when I made payment under 115 JB, then I for one would submit that this may not stand the scrutiny of the principles of interpretations of statutes. Now, friends, I find support from the provisions of 115 BAC, which have been brought in by Finance Act 2020, which are applicable to individuals and HUFs. Now, for them, 115 JB MAT provisions are not applicable, but AMT alternate minimum tax provisions are applicable. Now, while enacting 115 BAC also, they have said that the alternate minimum tax provisions of 115 JC will not be applicable to persons exercising option under 115 BAC. Now, those provisions which deal with AMT credit, which are dealt with 115 JD, there it has been specifically provided that the provisions of this section shall not apply to a person who has exercised the option referred to in 115 BAC. Now, if we compare the provisions of 115 JB and 115 JAA, the amendments carried out because of these new provisions, and if we compare the provisions of 115 JD and JC because of enactment of 115 BAC, it is more than clear that no amendment has been carried out in JAA. Therefore, going by the decision of Saha Siddiqui and Sons, where the Supreme Court has stated that the vested right cannot be taken away unless and until there is a specific amendment being carried out. Similarly, friend, this Supreme Court decision of Saha Siddiqui has been followed by Madras High Court in a reported decision. In a reported decision, 259 ITR 674. And friend, the nature of MAT credit, that has been explained by the Honorable Supreme Court in Tulsian NEC Limited's case, reported in 330 ITR 226 Supreme Court, wherein it has stated that once I make the payment under 115 JB, it is nothing but my advance tax. And when I calculate my tax liability, advance tax liability of a subsequent year, wherein I have liability under normal provisions of the taxation, that before calculation of 234A, 234, 234C, credit must be given to the MAT credit which is available to me. Therefore, I for one would submit that the view which has been taken by the CBDT in this circular, without amending 115 JAA, requires reconsideration with respect, and I think a good amount of litigation can take place because of this what has been stated in the CBDT circular. Therefore, those SSEs where the MAT credit brought forward is a huge figure and they want to exercise the option of 115 BAA, I think they can do so. There, according to me, I mean, though there is likely to be litigation, but as per the provisions they stand today, that can be done. Now, friends, Another important aspect of this 115 BAA is taxation of short-term capital gains. Now, it has been provided in the provisions that any short-term capital gain arising on transfer of a capital asset on which no depreciation is allowable, then the taxation would be at the rate of 22%. Now, the subsection 1 says that subject to the provisions of this chapter. Now, this chapter contains 111A also, on which if a short-term capital gain in the nature of a listed shares or a quoted shares on which STT is payable or chargeable, then the rate of taxation is 15%. So the question arises, when I am transferring short-term capital asset on which no depreciation is allowable, whether 15% is applicable or 22%. Sir, 111A being a specific provision for short-term capital asset which are in the nature of listed or quoted securities on which STT is payable, I think is the principle that a specific would prevail over general. No, 22% provision is of general character, and 15% as contained in 111A, which is part of this chapter only, chapter 12, I think that will prevail. Then, sir, let us go to 115 BAB. These were some of the aspects which were important in relation to 115 BAA, where the effective rate of taxation is 22% plus 10% surcharge plus 4%. That is, it comes to 25.17%. Then let us take BAB. Now, BAB is for domestic manufacturing companies. Now, companies which have been incorporated, on or after 1st October 2019, and which have commenced their manufacturing operations till 31st of March 2023, such companies on exercise of option under 115 BAB would be taxable at a rate of 15%. Now this is quite attractive. The 15% along with surcharge of 10% and cess of 4%, the effective rate comes to 17 and odd percentage. Now this is very attractive as compared to rates even prevailing in other parts of the countries. I mean, a strong wind is blowing that due to COVID-19 spread, many international companies which were operating in China are giving a rethinking of relocating themselves from China to India. Well, much will depend. I was talking to one of the NRI client of mine who are based in Singapore. Now they were telling me, said the tax rate is one aspect, but there are other aspects also, namely various clearances, bureaucracy, etc., etc. So it's not only the tax rate that will lead them to decide to come to India, but even ease of doing and this bureaucratic delays and bureaucratic clearances, that will also play an important role. I think our government led by Mr. Modi will take suitable care of these aspects also, because this pandemic, this should lead to an opportunity also, that if we can grab those industries and entities who are wishing or planning to relocate to India, this is a fantastic time and opportunity according to me. Now coming to BAB, since it is for manufacturing companies, there are certain additional conditions attached. As I already told you, it must be a new manufacturing companies. It must commence its manufacturing operations between, from 23 up to between uh, uh, up to 31st of March 23. And then there are certain other conditions. The other conditions are, the other conditions are that it does not use any previously old machinery, plant and machinery used for any purpose. Now, previously used for any purpose, the restriction is on old machineries which were utilized and which were used in India. If you import a entire plant, 100% plant and machinery, you import from another country which were never used in India, on which no depreciation is claimed, then this restriction is not applicable. The restriction is applicable only when plant and machinery used in India are utilized in your new plant. And there also there is a leeway given up to 20% of the total value of the plant and machinery used. You can use the imported plant and machinery. Then it should not use any building previously used as a hotel. Hotel, the meaning of hotel, or as a convention center. The meaning of hotel and convention center as given in section 80 ID. Hotel should not should be of a 2-star, 3-star or 4-star category. Such hotel should be used as a hotel, cannot be used. And a convention center which is used for conferences and meeting, that should not be used in your project, in your as a part of your fixed assets. Then certain prohibited categories of activities will not be called manufacturing. Those prohibited categories of activities are development of computer software, mining, conversion of marble blocks or similar items into slabs, bottling of gas into cylinder, printing of books and production of cinematographic film. Now, these are specific categories which have been specified in the section itself to say that these will not constitute manufacture. So we have, by virtue of several court decisions, some of these activities have been held to be manufactured, but as because specifically in the provision these have been stated that they will not constitute manufacture, therefore one should take care to ensure. And then it is very important to ensure, as the provision says, that no other manufacturing other than the business of manufacture should be carried out in the company. Now, one should not carry out any other business, say business of money lending, that should not be carried out. If you carry any other business which cannot be called manufacture, then you have a problem. Then there might it lead to violation of the provisions. So one should be very cautious and very sure to see that what is being carried out falls within the meaning and definition of the expression manufacture as per 115 BAB, read with the section 229B, which gives the definition of manufacture. Then, sir, there are certain other aspects which I will then. In case of transactions which are carried out with any person, which result in more than ordinary profits to you, and if the assessing officer comes to this conclusion or finding, then this excess profit will not be subject to this concessional rate of taxation. So the profits which is more than the normal profits will be charged at the tax rate of 30% and not this concessional rate of 15%. And similarly, in case of transactions with related parties, if it falls within the definition of specified domestic transactions, then those transactions, the principles of arm's length price, ALP has to be done. Now, that has to be very seriously and carefully understood, that transactions are carried with the related parties are carried out at arm's length. Friends, these were some of the important aspects of the provisions relating to BAB. Now I take you to provisions of 115 BAC, which is available, which is an outcome of Finance Act 2020. Now, as there was a hue and cry that domestic normal companies and manufacturing companies have been given a consistent rate of taxation, but what about non-corporates? Nothing was there. So Finance Act 2020 brought in a new section 115 BAC, wherein it has been provided that any individual or HUF has the option to pay the tax on the basis of slab rates as given in section 115 BAC itself. The section starts with that up to 2.5 lakh, no taxation, then various slabs are given. So ranging from 5 to 30%, which is which rates are better and lower than the existing slab rates. But this is an option. Now this option can be exercised by any individual or HUF, either having income from business or having income from income under the heads other than business, or having income under both business as also. So therefore they have categorized it that individuals and HUF having income other than business, and individuals and HUF having income under the head business along with other incomes. Now, those who do not have income from business, they can exercise this option every year. Every year they can exercise this option. And for those having business income, the law says, the provisions of 115 BAC says that the option should be exercised only once. And having exercised the option, it will be applicable for all the subsequent years. Having entered the new taxation regime, you cannot come out. But option to withdraw can be exercised only once in lifetime. Having come out of the scheme, you cannot re-enter the scheme, except when you cease to carry on the business. Now, here also, the conditions for deductions are that you cannot claim deductions or exemptions under 10(5), that is LTA, 10(13)A, house rent allowance, 10(14), specific allowances meet the specific expenditures actually incurred, 10(17), allowances to MPs and MLAs, 10(32), allowance in respect of the income of minors, and 10AA, SCZ, standard deduction under 16, professional tax under 16, or entertainment allowance under 16. 24B, now interest paid on self-occupied house property or vacant house property, which is mentioned in 23(2). Now here it may be clarified that interest paid on a let out property which is not self-occupied, there is no restriction. The entire amount of interest paid can be claimed as a deduction under the new regime also. Then additional depreciation allowable under 32(1) IIA, then 32AD, investment allowance, and various other sections including 35, 35AD, 35CCC, etc., etc. However, you can claim deductions under 80CC D2, that is employer's contribution to national pension scheme, and 80JJAA, that is additional employment cost weighted deduction, that can be claimed. Now, your computation of income should be without set off of any loss or depreciation related to the above deductions, and without set off of any loss under the above head. Even loss under the head house property cannot be claimed as a deduction. Now, only normal depreciation can be claimed, and not the additional depreciation. Now, as I told you, here also the option should be exercised on or before the due date of filing of 139(1). Mind you, when you file your return under 139(4), belated return, or when you revise a return under 139(5), then or there is a return filed under 148 when on case of a reopening. Now, if in that situation, this new option cannot be exercised. In these situations, the new option will be available only when, if you had claimed, exercise this option while filing your original return before the due date of 139(1). So exercise of option before 139(1) is a sine qua non to take the benefit of this this section. Now here also the same aspects will apply, that income for which the tax rate is lower than the tax rates applicable, like dividend income or long-term capital gain or short-term capital gain income, as they fall in the same chapter, and since these provisions are subject to the provisions of this chapter, it is submitted that the benefit of those lower rates of taxable income will continue to be available. Now friends, now one will ask, sir, how to decide whether to, because as it is an option, one should prepare both the computations. SSEs which are making regular investments in ATC products, or they have huge investments in plant and machinery eligible for additional depreciation, they will have to take a call whether to go for this new regime or whether to continue to be taxed. There cannot be a straitjacket formula or a straitjacket advice that one should jump. It is an option provided, so one will have to make both the computations before taking a call and decisions. Now, one more aspect, in case of BAB, 115 BAB, the option has to be exercised in the very first year, because as you have incorporated the company in the financial year 1920, the option has to be exercised for assessment year 2021 itself, the very first year. Whereas in case of 115 BAA or 115 BAC, the option can be exercised in any year. There is no such restriction. So friends, these are some of the aspects of 115 BAC. Now, what would you like? Would you like me to answer question and answers on these topics now, or should I deal with the COVID ordinance and thereafter we deal with the question and answer? Jawarji.
We have
question can be asked.
Yes, sir, please go ahead.
Question can be
बाद में करें अपने
question आंसर गुप्ता जी अभी कर ले सर.
हाँ ठीक है, no issue, we can do that.
सर कुछ क्वेश्चन हमने दिया है चैट में.
हाँ मेरे को यहाँ पर विजिबल नहीं है, आप भेजिए मेरे को.
I'll just tell you, sir. I'll repeat it. Hello.
Go ahead.
Yeah, there is a question that can we claim deduction for CSR expenditure under section 80G when opting for section 115 BAA?
Friends, 115 BAA and BBB, it has been provided that Finance Act 20 has already provided that no deduction under chapter 6A except deductions under 80JJAA or 80M can be claimed. So 80G falls under chapter 6A, therefore these deductions cannot be claimed. However, in this ordinance which has been announced on 31st of March 20, it has been clarified that for the financial year ending 31st March 19, which is assessment year 1920, any contribution made till 30th of June 2020, that will be eligible for deduction for assessment year 1920. But for 2021, when you are claiming a BAA, there, according to me, it cannot be claimed. Is it clear?
Sir, you mean to say for assessment year 2021, we are not
Yeah.
eligible to claim ATG when we
No,
opt for 115 BAA?
2021, because of this ordinance and because of a clarification, it has been provided that you can claim, because 2021 has already ended and PM Cares Fund, by way of ordinance, they have stated that that will not affect your claim of this 115 BAA or BAB. For assessment year 21-22, it will not affect. But for 2021, once you make a contribution to BAA, they have not clarified anything.
So we are eligible for getting a deduction under section 80G for assessment year 2021. Na?
You are eligible for 80G, but the moment you go for 80G, then for BAA may not be claimed for that. BAA may not be claimable for that year.
Okay, so I was of a different view that BAA we can claim once we go for 80G for assessment year 2021.
No, they have clarified this. They have clarified this. Let me give you the clarification. There's the date for claiming it.
Sir, in the ordinance it is written if
Yeah, 20-21 में कर सकते हैं आप. I'm sorry, what you say is understood.
Sir, we can claim then for assessment year 2021, we can claim 80G, na?
Yeah.
And still opt for 115 BAA.
Yes.
Thank you.
But payment should be before 30th June, na?
Yeah, should be before 30th June.
Sir, I have one incidental question. Suppose I make some contribution from PM Care Fund from in say April 2020, and I don't want to claim for assessment year 2021. Can I do so?
I think when you make a contribution, I have not seen those forms, whether they contain that 2-year or there must be some procedural mechanism to identify whether the claim is for the earlier year or for the current year. I think it cannot be left blank open according to me.
Okay. Naveen, I have a couple of more questions. If you can ask those questions.
Actually, my system was out, so I'm not having that questions with me.
So, okay, I am asking.
Yeah.
Sir, if a certain income is taxed under section 115 BBE, I mean section 68, and if the company is opting for 115 BAA, so what will be the surcharge rate on the income which have been offered under 115 BBE, which have been taxed under 115 BBE?
See, for 115 BBE, the surcharge rate is specifically contained in the Finance Act to be 25% of 60%, that is 15%. So therefore, when there is an applicability of 115 BBE, that overrides all other enactments. There you cannot take the benefit of this consistent rate of taxation under 115 BBA. So BAA or BAP.
I am not taking the benefit of concessional rate of tax. I am just wanting to say surcharge rate will be 25% or 10% in that case.
No, it will be 25% because the specific rate of taxation and for that surcharge rate is for that specific rate. So there you will not have the benefit of that concessional rate of taxation.
Okay.
ये जो अभी आपका इसका देखिए जो अभी डिविडेंड इस फाइनेंस एक्ट में जो इन्होंने डिविडेंड के लिए सरचार्ज का रेट घटाया है, they have said that surcharge dividend would be up to 10 lakh, it will be surcharge will be 10% and beyond about 10 it will be maximum 15%, and the higher rate of surcharge will not be applicable 25 or 37% wala.
Okay.
Now that analogy is not applicable to dividends from mutual funds. Only dividends from companies will be there. So likewise, when there is a specific surcharge rate applicable for 115 BBE cases,
Mhm.
This will not fall here.
Okay. Sir, another
I
question
hope
was, I'm clear, sir. Another question was there. Suppose in assessment year 17, 18, there is an unobserved depreciation of 100, which includes additional depreciation of 20 rupees. And in subsequent year, unobserved depreciation has been set off for rupees 50. Then what will be presumed? Whether additional depreciation has been utilized
Right.
or, I mean, you are saying that I have to reverse the additional depreciation. What have been,
Yeah. Chapriya ji, see
sir.
what is the scheme of taxation? First, you claim normal depreciation on the entire additions to the plant and machinery. On the entire block of plant and machinery, 15% block. Then you, out of that block, then you find the items eligible for additional depreciation. And then additional depreciation is calculated and claimed. So
Yes.
therefore, going by the scheme of things, the priority should be first we will set off normal depreciation, and what is left is nothing but additional depreciation.
Okay, sir.
So that way we have to bifurcate in absence of a specific formula given.
So my questions are over.
Yeah.
So I just wanted one more question from my side. Wherein a corporate going for the new tax regime has to be in a manufacturing concern.
Yeah.
Is it compulsory that it cannot go for any other? We have seen a companies who are having more than 2 businesses together. One is a manufacturing and another is something other than that. In that scenario also, whether the company will be eligible for the new tax regime or he has to operate separately?
Not strictly. In such situation, it is advisable to incorporate a subsidiary company which will carry out manufacturing exclusively. Then you can take the benefit subject to fulfillment of other conditions. Because the moment you are into any business other than manufacturing of any article or thing, then you suffer.
Okay.
If the company is having surplus funds, in that case, what is to be done then?
Sir, please repeat. I have not been able to understand.
If the company is having surplus funds for the time being, then whether it can advance as loan to the outsiders or no?
Surplus funds advance if it is not in the nature of your business. Don't claim it under the head business. Treat it as your income from other sources.
Okay.
Say it is not my business. The moment you claim it as business and the moment it cannot be established that it is part of your business activity, then there is no problem. I mean, anyone having surplus funds might like to keep it as a fixed deposit with the bank or lend it to some other persons. So what in the facts and circumstances you have to justify that my main activity is business. This is only when my business is low or my funds are surplus, then to reduce my interest liability, I have lent it, kept it by way of fixed deposit. Claim it under other sources. Don't show it as a business income.
Any more questions from anyone?
Sir, I have one question.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Sir, you suggested that I can carry forward my MAT credit entitlement brought forward from previous year, even if I choose to go for option 115 BAA. So, will that MAT credit be adjusted against tax computed under 115 BAA only?
Sir, as per the CBDT circular, which has been issued on 2nd of October, circular number 29, it has been specifically stated that as the provisions of 115 JB are not applicable, the provisions of the benefit of MAT credit can also not be claimed. So the intention of the government is not to allow MAT credit when you opt for 115 BAB or BAA. And similarly, under 115 BAC, they have already amended section 115 JD, which deals with AMD credit for non-corporate SSE. But what I am suggesting, that will lead to litigation. I mean, not that at the level of assessing officer you are going to get this benefit. You might have to litigate it till tribunal or till, I mean, maybe even High Court or Supreme Court also. So that is a matter. I have told you my reasonings and my views why it is not, because that Supreme Court decision which I narrated had specifically stated that rights already vested in the SSC cannot be taken away unless and until there is a specific enactment to that effect, which has not been done in this case. Therefore, I had suggested that this could be a possible case to argue and fight it out.
So while filing the return of income, I should adjust it with my tax liability if I want to go for litigation.
Yeah, if you want to fight it out, you should do that. And see, much will depend. आप दोनों कैलकुलेशन करिए. See, BAA में ये तो है नहीं कि आपको फर्स्ट ईयर में या अभी आपको ऑप्शन एक्सरसाइज करना है. If I am having huge MAT credit, then I can go with the old regime. Why should I go for the new regime? आज 22% और 25%, 25% की regime तो available है ही ना हमारे को. My Finance Act says अगर 250 करोड़ तक की टर्नओवर है तो हम 25% टैक्स दे सकते हैं. So therefore 22 और 25 का डिफरेंस ही तो यहाँ पर आएगा. So if we compare the additional tax liability and the benefits of MAT credit, and if the figures are not not material or not used, then litigation may not be advisable, because there is always a cost of litigation also. But there is a strong case to fight it out in case the impact is huge and large.
But problem lies, sir, with companies जिनके पास MAT credit entitlement है and they continue to be taxed under MAT if they go for normal provisions. So those companies would like to opt for 115 BAA and would like to also carry forward the MAT credit entitlement.
Sir, BAA में 22% है. मैट में अगर टैक्सेशन होता तो 15% है. मैट की रेट भी तो रिड्यूस हो गई. So what is the problem then? अगर मैट में टैक्सेबल हो रहा है और 15% में हो रहे हैं हम लोग, तो I think we would like to be taxed under MAT. See, the idea is comparing our old regime and the new regime, taking into consideration the benefits of MAT credit which is available, benefits of additional depreciation which is available, all those things which we are foregoing, if we are able to claim, depending upon case to case basis, then one may decide not to go. But see, pure trading companies or like ITC financial year 19-20 में कितना couple of thousands of crores का उनको taxation में फर्क पड़ा है. They in their tax provision, जो उनके half yearly results publish हुए थे 30 सितंबर वाले.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, any other question, or should I start with COVID ordinance?
So you should start with the COVID.
Okay.
Ordinance, yes.
Now, friends, on 24th of March, there was a press release by Union Finance Minister where a lot of relaxations were announced. And then on 31st of March, that ordinance was issued. Now, according to the ordinance, several deferment and several relaxations have been provided. So I will deal with what are those relaxations and what are those deferments. Now, 139.4, the last date of filing of belated return, and 139.5, the last date of filing of the revised return for the assessment year 1920 has been, which was up to 31st of March 2020. Now that has been extended to 30th June 2020. Then PAN and Aadhaar linking as per 139AA, which was to be done up to 30th June 20, which was to be done up to 31st of March 20, that has been deferred to 30th June 2020. Now, the dates for making various investments or payments, including for claiming deduction under Chapter 6A, like ATC, LIC, PPF, NSC, etc.
वेबसाइट मैंने तीनों ऑप्शंस आपको बताए, IIFL मार्केट ऐप आपको बताया, उसमें आप जा सकते हैं, TT वेब का प्लेटफॉर्म बताया, या TT EXE फाइल है, तीनों
Hello. Hello.
Yeah, sir. You can continue, sir. I think somebody unmuted, sir.
Okay, okay. So sir, for making these investments under these,
होगा क्या होगा, we don't know.
ये जरा ठीक करिए ना, अभी बीच बीच में इंटरवेंशन हो रहा है.
जी सर, एक सेकंड.
Become a investor, focus on relative returns,